Video 2. How to make good decisions as a team. Decision making. Teams are particularly effective in problem solving as they are comprised of people with complementary skills. These complementary skills allow team members to examine issues from various angles, as well as see the implication of their decisions from a variety of perspectives. Before we get into some specific communication practice, let's discuss a broader shift in our overall orientation towards how we communicate with each other in the first place, decision-making process. First of all, we need to recognize and define the problems. Team must see and recognize that the problem exists and that a decision needs to be made. Explore different ways of viewing problem which can lead to an improved understanding of the core problem. Secondly, we need to gather information. Once the problem has been defined, teams need to gather information relevant to the problems. By performing this, teams can verify the problem was defined and to develop alternative solutions to the problem at hand. Next, we need to develop alternative solutions. While it can be easy for teams to jump on and accept the first solution, teams that are effective in problem solving can take the time to explore several potential solutions to the problem. And next, select and implement the best alternative. Once all the alternatives are in, the team needs to determine an alternative that best addresses the problem at hand. And last but not least, we need to evaluate the outcome. Teams and team building is a learning process. It's critical that the team examine whether a proposal plans were achieved in an effective way and resulted in positive outcomes. Next is practices. There are 5 specific practices we can do to practice more inquiry in our group decision making, ways to communicate with each other that nurture the process. First of all is multiple alternatives. It is rare that you can make a good decision with a simple up or down vote on a single idea. You need to see that ideas in relation to other ideas and other possibilities. So don't start evaluating a plan or a solution until you have discussed a sufficient number of alternatives ideas. Next is assertion testing. Anytime we start making progress towards the particular plan or solution, we need to stop and revisit the assumption that those ideas are based on the first place. Maybe the initial assumptions were correct, but things have changed recently. Or maybe you come across new information that challenges those initial assumptions. Next, well-defined criteria. We need to have well-defined criteria in our decision making. How we would know if a proposal or idea is good? On what basis will we evaluate alternative proposals? We need to be clear about this ahead of time or we run the risk of slipping into advocacy, imposing arbitrary criteria on others' ideas, and often devolving into personal disputes rather than arguing about the actual merits of various ideas. So, make sure you clearly define the standards by which ideas will be assessed and what will make certain alternatives acceptable and unacceptable. Next is dissent and debate. We need dissent and debate in our decision-making processes. Now, this doesn't mean we need to argue with each other all the time, but when assessing the merits of any proposal or plan or solutions, we need a healthy amount of back and forth among alternatives. We need to challenge the premise that our ideas are based on to make sure our plans are established on strong foundations. Perception of fairness. And finally, we need to ensure the perception of fairness in our decision-making processes. We all know that not every idea will be implemented or accepted, so it is vital that the members believe that we engage in a fair process to reach that decision. So now, let's get back to the debate challenge. The criteria are well taken care of by the organizer. After receiving the motion, come up with a pool of arguments so you can select the most convincing ones. Feel free to disagree with each other's found arguments. It is a good way to predict other teams' arguments too. However, it is important to keep a civilized and friendly manner at all times and keep in mind your group context. You're here to win the debate and everyone's participation is voluntary. Hope this video gives you the foundation of how to make good decisions as a team. And see you next video. Bye bye!